Good. Okay. I got 5 minutes. I call this meeting of the Hamlin Collegiate ISD Board of Trustees to order. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act and is open to the public. The proceedings are being recorded and as official minutes will be taken to document today's action. Let the record show that we have a quorum present with the following members in attendance: Kim Driven, Carrie Moore, Jennifer Prather, Derek Moore, Sheila Darnell, Dr. Chad White, and Sherman Bates. If during the course of this meeting, discussion of any item on the agenda is required to be held in closed session, the board will meet in executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Government Code Chapter 551, Subchapters D and E. Before we move on to the agenda item, we'll open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board must sign in at the registration desk. Sherman, you mind? We'll open this up for work.
Yes, sir, I should. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. Thank you for everyone that's here today. We thank you. Everyone that's had a safe summer. I pray as we all get back into the groove of public education, for educating our kids. Lord, I pray for every teacher, every administrator, and pray for this board. Lead, guide, and direct us in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lisa, anybody sign up to address the board? Sir. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We got 4 items in that. It's the minutes of the previous meeting, the engagement for the future audit, the family resolution, 4-H resolution, and then the business procedure manual. Comments or adjustments or if anything needs to be pulled off of that consent agenda to vote on separately, speak up now. If not, I will recommend that motion to approve that.
And we sign the 4-H every year because we pay for all of our students in the district to be a member of 4-H. So it's part of our agreement that we have to do every year.
I move the board approves the consent.
Second. Motion made by Jennifer, seconded by Derek. All in favor of that motion, signify with the right hand. 7-0. Okay, moving on to some discussion items. First one is the 26-27 preliminary budget.
All right. I got give you all a packet. I got them in order for the agenda, so we can put through them. First, if you will, all your proposed budget for the 26-27. So we put that over. It has a comparison of what y'all adopted for this school year back in the end of August compared to what we're proposing for this next school year. So if you look at the 3 grade boxes at the top, it'll first one show what we're in right now, the second one the next school year. And if you'll look down the change and increase and decrease column, we're going to get a little bit more extra money, about $74,000 extra. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but we're not losing any money, so that's always a positive. The next section, if it starts with that $91,000 number and going down, those are all our expenses through. Most of the ones that are kind of going up are salaries, extra positions, but the ones that are going down, those are mostly in part helping out by grants. If they go down, the grant is helping those out mostly. Like the health service one's one that's not. We used to get, I don't know if you remember, Medicare payments. We were getting $200,000 plus, those are no more. So those are fees we pay to a consulting agent to do all the paperwork. That kind of came out. But other than that, these are all grants kind of helping and going out of that. Any kind of questions, you may go down any detail. And then the next page is the school nutrition and the bond INS account. No changes to that. Those are exactly the same amounts. So there's only really a $74,000 positive increase, and we will have a balanced budget on all 3.
I do want to talk a little bit about the budget, and Becky can chime in. So although we got a little bit more money, our taxes did go up, which meant we got less state aid which meant she'll talk about that in a minute, the tax rate, but what Becky doesn't tell you, the behind the scenes, really, once she figured it all out, we were already like $30,000 in the hole because we lost the LASSO grant. So that was a lot of salaries. So that some salaries we paid through that grant had to come over to general. And so Becky does an amazing job figuring out how we can move, because then I
A
can
lot of
say,
shuffling, I'm trying to find money, and I want to balance budget, I want to balance budget.
so we, I kept coming and we kept looking at things, but we didn't want to cut campus budget. So that's what our goal was. What could we cut? We can never cut maintenance, because you trust me. Right. Billy could walk in today and tell me another AC is broken. That's, $40,000. So there's certain pots we never cut, but looking at where we can cut, and since we do have the Moody grant, Becky and I would go through and say, like, what can I turn in a change order, like move some money around, because it was an estimate. So that kind of helped us, because we really were trying to, when she goes over that, compensate our teachers and our employees and staff, but have a balanced budget. So, and when we say balance, we always try to make sure we have a little extra somewhere, something.
You never know what can happen.
You never know.
Air conditioning go down for 100,000, so.
And we also base the budget low on the students. So we don't make it on, we don't say we're going to get 365 students. We just don't do that. So we try to be really conservative, because we would rather get money back.
I'd rather underestimate my revenue.
Sure.
Overestimate.
But Becky works very, very hard, and this year Jones County did not turn in their taxes on time. So it was a holdup, because she has the requirement to report our stuff to the state, to TA. So it was kind of a mess. And, Becky has to make her have to work on weekends and do all of that stuff. So Becky, I appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you.
Any questions or more details we can go into?
So like some of the big changes you see, daycare, I'm just gonna point out a few things. Went down 24,788, that's because we lost the head daycare, and she, those are salaries, big differences in pay.
And we changed 12 months.
Yes, we did change it from 12 months, because we did not have employees utilizing that. The only employees we had utilizing it were the Ferris's, and the Ferris's kids are now gonna go be based out with Donna. So we thought we could save some money there. So we did, since we were hiring 2 new people. So we did some of that, and then really.
The security one, that one is mostly, we've had a grant, and that grant is gonna be over in April. So we don't have much left over, but that has been a good grant. We've had it for 3 or 4 years. We'll have it till April, and then it's be done. So we're just working on spending it. So those expenses kind of have to come back.
Because that's how we were paying Joey out of that pot and Drew.
Yes.
And so now that that money is gone, they come back to general. But remember, Coach Billy's retiring, so Coach Billy's treating Joey to take over that pot. So it's a constant shuffle of where we're gonna replace, not replace. And then when teachers leave, sometimes you could have a teacher that left that could be on a, let's say, 3-year, step 3, and then we hire someone that may be a 20-year veteran. That means that salary. So that kind of all goes into play, because we did hire some experienced teachers for the upcoming school year. So for salaries wise, that's kind of some of those deals, but just to kind of talk through some of that.
Yeah, that's why kind of structures is 91,000. I know we've had extra positions, but we've had some couple of people that were in a grant. That grant's no longer, and they kind of come back over. So that was our highest one.
We've had teachers and different stuff in grants and some of the stipends and stuff. And so now that LASSO grant's gone, the LIFT grant that we have, we cannot cover the teacher salaries. It would just be like administration. So we did get a lot more to work with.
What's health services?
What?
What's health services?
That's the nurse, and that one went down because that's where we've had the Medicare payments, and those we don't pay into them anymore, that service, because we don't, into SHARs, but that's where it got coded to. It's not a very big account, but that one was a huge number.
Are you? Is this where, or is there anything else? Oh, no, you're not. Because you're gonna talk about it. The compensation and benefits.
I am, it's closer to, I think it's the last thing on the agenda for me.
Perfect. So any questions on the budget for Victor?
Because I don't mind, I can go through each increase.
And remember, we don't know where we're at on last year's budget until, because she's still collecting money and stuff right now. So we'll know where we ended up and if we have money left over to put in fund balance in September.
We'll have one big one at the end of the month, and then what happens is Gerald actually does this entry for me. There's more behind the scenes. But how much money does we make off the kids in August when they come back? That gets moved back to this budget, not 26, 27. So we have two big pots of money that will come back to this budget. So, and we still have bills, of course, and payroll that we still haven't got done. So there's still a lot to be done. It's not crazy enough.
And we already are starting to see the Swinson solar farm because Stonewall tripled. Their time.
Really?
Since I first came here to now, it's over tripled.
Oh.
So that's, I mean,
Crazy enough.
that's just with a little bit of dirt moving on the Swinson solar farm. Tripled from last year.
Goodness. That's good. Okay, any other questions? We'll move on to the 2026-27 proposed tax rate and set date for public hearings.
Okay, what I'm proposing now, this is, we'll come back with a rate at the end of the month to adopt, but this is what I'm working on. I've been working on actually back and forth with Jones County for one last check on these rates, but maintenance and operation, 0.7098, interest and sinking, 0.1692, for a total of 0.8790. I also put in your packet this comparison I put together. Kind of shows where I kind of started, where it's at in tax rates. If you look curiously at M&O tax rate compared to the tax value at the bottom, and start going across there, and you see we're at 142 142 million when I first got here. You can see the tax rate top, and see when it, if you get up to like, okay, there's 192 back in 93, 94. See our tax rate drop. You can see it's great to be even and go up. Kind of hurts us to jump up, and this is what we've done this year. Last year we had our 25 values 174 million. This year 194 million. You think that's a group that we're going to get a lot more money, but now our tax rate they dropped us. So it dropped a nickel. Effect that's the counteract of getting more value is the drop in the tax rate. The INS tax rate. This is a different one. You would think we're getting more value, so our tax rate for our bond should go down. In theory, it should. But when I first came here for the past 2 or 3 years, when I first got here, this didn't happen. It only happened in the last couple of years that the state has kicked in extra money to help us make our bond payment, which is great for our taxpayers. Wonderful. This year we got $56,000 to help with it. Our tax rate 0.1571. This year, it's estimating not as much, about 30,000. So it's still helping the taxpayers out. It's not a big one like we used to have, and it's going to go up and down. It just depends. It has to do with that tax rate. If it goes skyrocketing, it kind of dropped. It made us raise it just a little, but our overall tax rate is lower than it was last year. I mean, that's a good thing, but it just depends every year on the bond. What I figure is, what can we give from the taxpayers to make our bond payment, minus what the state's going to help us with. So that is just to make our bond payment, is to lower it, to raise it up to 692. So that's what I'm hoping it stays, and then you'll adopt at the end of the month.
There's a lot in the fund balance and the bond payment.
We do have a lot in there.
So everyone should be happy that their taxes go down.
Our bond, this bond will be over 2032, so about 6 more years, and we should be able to pay it off. Questions about that?
How early, what was it said?
It's set to be done in 2032, the year 2032.
Oh, that's not early, but it's.
No, that is it. It's over in the year 2022, but we have so much that should be able to pay it off.
Won't we pay that off before we do?
I mean, I don't know, I think that's like what depends on what the financial advisor and the alternate is, I guess. Because there's like,
Pay that off.
how, with what we have in fund balance in there, when could we pay it off?
4 years ago. Probably 2 years. It was just kind of in
I
there.
don't think you necessarily have, I think there's the rolling.
Gotcha. I don't know.
And as we do advance, one thing I'll just say so that everyone knows, as we advance and start getting more money, we're gonna have to consult out with some people to help Becky like figure out our budgets and stuff like that. Because the more money you start to get, if you go to recapture stuff, it starts to get difficult. And since it does take so much time, that's definitely something we're gonna do to help her out.
Yeah, I kind of reached out to somebody, kind of put it on the radar just in case, because the other surrounding towns.
Yeah, but you're not the only one.
No.
This is not a ball game I've played before, and it's having money, and have lots of money, recapture possibly, and things like that. I'll learn it. Be a great problem to have.
Any other questions for Becky? You're going to block on that. And we'll move on to discussion item 3, discuss the federal and state funding for the 2026-2027 school year.
All right, next one up, it should look like that in your packet. It should say federal and state program. What is helping our budget out? I'll just briefly go over these. Our federal programs we get, these are the same every year. Shouldn't look anything different. We get our Head Start program, $117,484 for our early childhood education. Our Title I is $137,331. That's for our math and reading program. Helps out them. Title II is $11,712. We do that for recruiting and retention. The HCY, that's our homeless. That's kind of in need. When we need something, we can reach out to Region 14. We have a small rural school achievement that usually Chris helps out spending. That's for our $17,437 for our student technology every year to do new devices. Our Title IV, we get a little, we get $8,364. We use this just to help our dual credit every year to help pay for that as much as possible. It's not much, but a little, everyone gets. So we get $292,000 in federal money. Now, state money on the bottom. That safety grant, you'll see the Cycle 1 and Cycle 2. Those are the ones that will run out this year in April. But the first one's used for that. We're going to use the rest of that for that silent panic alarm. Chris manages. We'll use the rest of that to pay out, and that'll totally wipe out that account. And then the next one's for salaries. There's not much left in there. And we'll pay for, get through those, and those will be done. So we won't have those next year. The LIFT grant, those are new grants that we'll have this year for salaries and stuff. So we pay a lot to the ESC for contracting fees through them. And then the next one, Black can tell you more about that one, the Moody grant. We get that amount, give or take, for the next 3 years. So we'll spend $414,000 this year, and then we'll get 2 other pots for the next 2 years. And that's helped us a lot. We're paying our dual credit out of there. That's helped because that's a big expense for all of our college, for all of our students. Student devices for this year's, teacher devices, counselor, coordinator. We pay a bunch to CEM partnership to help us with that. We get a total state program, $970,000 for next year.
And then the LIFT grant, 70% of that goes to the region.
Yes.
So I know it looks like we get a lot of money, but we only get 30%. They get 70%. And we do all the work. On purpose. So it was 60-40 on the last grant. Now it's gone up to 70-30. So just thought we go.
Yeah.
Anything else for Becky? I guess we'll talk about the conversations and stuff. Action items.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to 7.1 information item, start date.
All right, so Christy's not here. She had to leave. She got called for an interview in Austin. My team was aware because we're having to pivot for tomorrow. So I'm blessed that I have, great leadership team, and I will pick up Michelle, and I will pick up her pieces tomorrow. And I've told all of y'all, the leadership team knows if she finds a job that's where she wants to be, we hope that works out for her. So they only have 2 campuses left, and anyway, so they called today, right, this morning, Michelle, and then to interview tomorrow, so not much time. So we will wait and see what happens with that, but I've talked to several of you already on accountability, and I'm just gonna talk about it briefly. So we are still waiting on our overall district. Like, everything is just, these are all preliminary. None of the final results have been out. And so last year, my charge was really trying to push the high school, because if we could get the high school scoring better, I felt like we could easily push the district to a B, because the high school counts for 70% of us, like 66%, I guess, of our score as a district. And so whichever campus has the most students, that counts the most percent. So it goes up like that. So we are a 2 campus district, whereas like Axe, Vermont, Rhodey, Rotan, it's all is just 1. So it's easier for them to hide grades that don't perform well. And so the high school did grow 6 points, 86. We're super excited about that. And I know with Shay, a lot of things are they're gonna, no doubt that they can be an A next year. I mean, Shay was there in May, and with some consistency and some expectations. I think we have good teachers just really focusing on some basic great things. I really think that the high school can be an A for sure. Now, the elementary, last year we got out of being a D because of growth, and this year they kept the same systems. They really worked hard. They incorporated professional learning communities. They really worked with the Region Center. They were not alone. They had the region support, analyzing data and doing all of those things, and unfortunately, the data just did not pan out. Right, Jacob? I'm going to give Jacob a chance to speak real quick. And so I know that Jacob is disappointed. We did not get the growth we had expected. Our 4th grade group tanked. They did not grow. And so I'm going to not take it away from Jacob, because I do want him to tell you some of the things he's going to do. And so we had to come together. We've all been at the Region Center together with the lift, which one of the good things is we still get region support for systems, campus-wide, district-wide, plus we all have to be on the same language doing walkthroughs. We already have a schedule, and y'all can kind of see this just so y'all can see, and I can share it out. So with the Region Center, so in the fall, just classroom visits, all of us as a team with the Region Center, each month we do classroom visits at both campuses and in the spring. And so I think it will just kind of help. And like I told some of you, tomorrow at PD, instead of us splitting up to them to go to their respective campuses, our message this year is it's all of us. We're not elementary and we're not secondary. We're one district. We are all going to do the same thing. Shay's expectation of his teachers are the same as Jacob's expectations of his teachers. And so for the first time, I think this message can really happen. So we are doing our professional development as a district. All of our teachers will be hearing it, and we will all be presenting. So I think that, and our theme for this year is to elevate, because we're not where we want to be. And even if we score amazing, even if our program was the best, we can elevate and get better in everything that we do as a district. Our kids can elevate to the next level. Our teachers can elevate to the next level, and our district really can. And so that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow at professional development. Shay, Jacob, Katie, and David are going to be presenting the professional development. It's called Fundamental 5. It's just non-negotiables for our district now that we're going to be doing. They're just easy things teachers should already be doing in the classroom anyways, and it's going to be our expectation moving forward. The elementary is already doing work with their curriculum. There's just some tweaks that we're going to do there to ensure some success with our students, and we've made some changes with teachers, and it's just going to be an expectation. We are all going to do the same thing, and we're going to hold everyone accountable. So those are some of the things we're going to do. When we get our letter grade, we will publicize it, that until we get the final grade, we're not going to put it out. We will either be a 78, a 79, or an 80 as a district. So pray if you want that we roll up to an 80. So we did grow overall as a district. And, you know,
Last year, 78.
I think it's 77. What were we at 77 or 76?
Last year as a district.
Yeah.
78.
Oh,
I was
78.
thinking it was 78.
So if we could be an 8, that would be terrific. Jacob.
Yeah, so y'all probably had the same questions I did. What happened? Because I know after benchmarks, we were excited. I think the plain and simple answer is our data just didn't give us a good indicator. I mean, if you look across the state, yeah, there are certain grade levels that across the state scored lower. We were victims of that too. But I just think that the data that we did gather last year was not indicative of mastering, so we're going to make some changes to that. I think the data gathering process, just not as an old science guy, I think there are a lot of variables that I think we can address in how we gather it, so that the only variable is student mastery. And then just some instructional gaps and some staffing changes, adjustments. You know, part of our job as school leaders is to get people in the right seat on the bus. I think we have the right people on the bus. We just got to get them in the right seat. So what are we going to do? That's my next question I had for myself. You know, so we're going to change how we gather that data. We're going to make it simpler, less variables, and then we're going to use that data. Teach those teachers really dig in this year on how do we use that data to improve your instruction, not just report it. You know, because that's a big mindset shift. I came up with a big, a plan, a multi-page plan. I'm not going to go through all the details on that. Dr. Block and I looked at it, and
And I'm going to share it with them tomorrow.
Okay.
That way they can see the thought and work that you put in for the
Yeah.
development.
You know, just what are we going to do? Because we can't just sit here and talk about it. You know, Fundamental 5, Dr. Block talked about that. I've seen that work in other campuses to make tremendous growth. It's just good teaching. It's easy to say some guy wrote a book and made a lot of money on good teaching, but it makes it very simple on what are we looking for. It helps Mr. Murphy and I be on the same page, so you don't get what that campus is this. You know, it just streamlines everything. Even from, well, they don't teach at tested grade level, so they don't have the same expectations. No, they do, and it's what they do in kindergarten is going to help you in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. And then walk through frequency and feedback, you know, just being in those classrooms, and then it's easy as a principal to let discipline, phone calls and parenting, you know, okay, I've gotten those classrooms checked, I filled out my forms, so the teachers can read it, go back and give them that feedback and make actionable steps every time you're in that classroom. We tier our teachers, started to tier our teachers, so we know, you know, some teachers are going to see us a lot more frequently. That's okay. Everybody can get better. And then just our coaching cycle, you know, Katie being in year 2 of that, she's gonna, we're gonna streamline that, you know, talk a little bit more, just really streamlining that and improving that process. Everybody gets better every year. There's a lot more in that plan, but it took me all summer, I think, to get to it and present it to Dr. Block, but I think we have a good plan moving forward. And again, it's more, a lot of it is just, a lot of it falls on just get better every day, and here's how we can do it, because teachers' plates are full, so we need to provide them those resources to get that done.
So like 4th grade, we knew was low, so there are incoming 5th graders, so he's already going to split the cohort, because last year they were together, so it's changes like that. How can he split them up to give them more intensive support, so that it's not such a large group? So that's like one of the changes, but I will be very honest, we don't have a 6th grade reading teacher. So, you know, that already is a strike against, right? So how, you know, Jacob's been trying to handle that in the schedule, who can pick it up. Right now, Katie is the one who's going to be teaching both sections. We have reached out to another person who's a retired teacher superintendent who is teaching at a college, but who has taught that grade that is interested in possibly just doing that for the 2 hours. So we met with the money lady today. She gave us her blessing. And then Jacob reached out to the gentleman, and I think they're going to talk Thursday. So
Yes.
we've reached out to retired teachers. We've done everything. Another thing is 10-day checks they do on their campus to keep a pulse of data. Jacob reached out to see if we could pay retired teachers to write that instead of teachers. and or the service center. So we said we will find the funds for that. That just will allow more, not accuracy, but teachers are kind individuals, right? So they want their kids to do well. So how we can make sure that we have an expectation, or they don't water it down on purpose, but that's just the nature of a teacher. And so we're trying to take those variables out of the equation. And then one of the other things Jacob talked about, and then I'll move on, is like their 10-day checks and different things were based on STAR passing standard. So we are going to change that to a 70% passing standard. And you may say, why? Because like fourth grade math could be a passing standard of a 30, so they only have to master 30%. Well, okay, it's great. Let's say they're mastering 30%, but on test day, they only master 27%. That kid you thought was going to be a pass kid didn't. And so if we shoot for 70, we're going to hit growth and our index 1 is going to go up. So it's just a couple of little tweaks that we're going to do, and the service center is going to support us, and but we'll make it happen. But I want to say 1,000%. I believe in Jacob, and he's going to do what he has to do. I believe in Shay, he's going to do what he has to do. And I believe in Michelle, and she's going to help us do what we have to do. And if we lose Christy, this team will get it done. And there's no way we will not be a B next year. We'll make it happen.
I have a question. Have y'all considered part of the problem is the blue bonnet curriculum? Not once have y'all thought
No.
that that's,
Every district around us now is even going to move on it.
well, that
Roby,
doesn't make it good.
it doesn't, but I'm going to tell you why it's not the problem. Teachers don't have the capacity. We have so many teachers in our district who are alternate certified, who are not trained teachers. A teacher does not have the capacity 9 times out of 10 to create the curriculum to meet the needs of all their students. So this is a standard curriculum that's already been vetted. We're not saying they have to follow it and read it line by line by line. They still make it their own and they still make it fit, but it's still giving you 2 to 3 to 4 ways to teach a TEK. So what happens is most teachers go to teacher pay teachers, which is a low level, and that's not a curriculum. So we've taken the problem of a curriculum out of the equation, but what has happened, because we're just in the implementation of HQIM, they were service level. So they were just in that compliance checklist, like they're going through their lesson plan, they're learning how to go through it. So they've done that. And some teachers haven't mastered the second. They're not going into the lesson and making it their own. So they were just service level. So no, I don't think that curriculum is the issue.
Okay, well, we've changed a lot. Like, it seems like every
So
year.
say, last year, the first year, was that, we've been in it 2 years?
Last
Yeah,
year was the first year. I believe.
for math, it was the first, no, we started, well, in Blue Bonnet, yes, but it was amplifying Eureka. So it's the same curriculum, sort of, but remember the state of Texas made it their own. So it wasn't a choice that we made, it's just what Amplify and Eureka did in Texas. So yes, that is part of it. I will tell you, 4th grade was low across the state, 7th grade was low across the state. And the STAR test is a moneymaker. You also have people making all of these tests so I know there were like 100 and something thousand mistakes, I believe, in Blue Bonnet curriculum this year. So I think overall, but that's what I'm saying. You, as a teacher, you have to be able to still take that and make it your own. You can't follow it.
Yeah, but do you see, I mean, what you just said is that this, all across the state, it was worse. And it's their curriculum.
It wasn't worse. Scores went up, but in the state of Texas, this is the game. If we weren't going to use that curriculum, which I really think still levels the playing field for every kid, because it teaches here. And a lot of times teachers will teach here or they'll teach here because they don't know any better. So it teaches here, and then a teacher has to add in their own pizzazz, right, to make it their own. And then they have to also add in their own for the kids that they have sitting in the classroom that year. But what Texas has done is, if you don't use that curriculum, you don't get any money, which is fine in districts that can afford that, but we can't afford it. This LIFT grant, we wouldn't have gotten. The LASSO grant, we wouldn't have gotten. And so what we're seeing now is, Roby's never done an HQM. Guess what? They're in LIFT. Stanford's in LIFT, Anson's in LIFT, Haskell's in LIFT, Rotan, all of those are new to this curriculum. So we're at least 2 years ahead, 1 year ahead. So,
Just the consistency of staying with the same
Yeah, that's
curriculum.
correct.
maybe?
It will make a difference.
Yeah.
We just haven't had time to
No.
tell,
No.
because before Amplify and, Eureka, we were, had
Something else, and remember what it was, yeah.
For math, they use STEM Scopes math, I think, and
Yes.
STEM Scope science, and then I don't know what they used for.
Do we use Amplify before?
They use,
Sass.
they use Amplify the year I came, sort of, but it's also the level that you use it. And it's hard too, because like the curriculum was so new, like there wasn't support at the Region Center. Like the people at the Region Center really couldn't support. So I think we'll start to see more and more gains, and I think the teachers see some value in it at the elementary. I mean, they bought in at the elementary. I mean, as long as you don't teach it 1,000%. We're not telling you to pick up the spiral and read it. We're telling you to kind of go through and say like, okay, these are some of the things. You may still have a better way to teach it. That's okay. We're still okay with that, but we don't want you to not teach all the teaks and then teach at a level that's not where you need to be teaching at.
So
And
it's
there-
a
there's-
minimum guideline.
It is a minimum guideline, and then you have to make it your own. We're not going in on the lesson and saying, this is what it says to do. We're not ever doing that.
And this is kind of what we learned in theology, like, when you look on it, yes, it's still technically amplifying Eureka, they said they went in and made it cover more Texas teaks than, you know, because the Texas edition textbook really only has to cover about 80 to 85% of the teaks to meet the list. That's why it's called HQIM now, high quality instruction material. It's supposed to cover more of those. But there's some assumptions that get made. You know, as a first grade math teacher, your Bluebonnet curriculum is going to assume that kindergarten was taught the way Bluebonnet kindergarten is written.
But it doesn't make up the gap. That was never taught.
So the problem with the, first year Bluebonnet is that assumption may or may not be true because we didn't use Bluebonnet specific last year. So by the time you get to 6th, 7th, 8th grade algebra, those assumptions create bigger gaps. So each year we stick with it, those assumptions become more true. So now those gaps aren't instructional material created, and they just be learning gaps that we can address that way.
That's why you can't stray off and want to teach what you want to teach, because then you will create more gaps. That's why I say like having at least a standard curriculum, you're ensuring that. Because also the second piece is science, like for instance, this year, new standard, like we're just, I mean, they just barely gave us what they think is the passing standard in science because it was a new test. The state of Texas constantly is doing things like that, which is, let's be very honest, they're trying to do away with public education. They did that for a reason this year, so that more schools would do bad because they're fixing to go into a legislative session. That's reality. That's where we're at in public education. And now the STAR test is fixing to change again to be 3 times a year.
So our 4th grade was the one that scored the lowest, that's going to go into the 5th grade.
Yes.
So now we have to work hard for the 5th grade and then compensate for the 4th grade to not do the same thing that we did then,
Right. Yes.
to be sure we're not in the same boat.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what drove our adjustments to staffing.
Staff changes.
Putting people in different seats on the bus kind of thing. Just getting people in the right spot. Honestly, 4 through 6 is really set up more like a middle school at this point, where you have a math guru, you have a science
We had
guru.
one teacher teaching 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. She can produce results. She had 3 students not pass. They were not successful. But the hard part for her this year is going to be to continue that growth because they'll have to show stay where they were at last year, plus show 1 year's worth of growth. So the higher you perform for her battle is going to be, the higher she performs, it's going to be hard to continue
Raises
that.
the bar.
And that kind of leads into splitting that 5th grade group into A, it was 28 kids. In Abilene, ISD, that doesn't sound like much. In Hamilton, Texas, we expect small classes, we're a small town. So by splitting it, we can give it those smaller sections more one-on-one time. Each kid gets a bigger percentage of her attention, or any of the teacher's attention during their instructional time. There's only 13 other kids in there. So those smaller classes, that was a big one because we have to split that 5th grade so that we can give each individual student more time. Time with the teacher, time on task, whatever.
And last year we had hired an interventionist to help with our startling. We knew we had some grades to help besides Katie, and that was going to be Makata. But remember, we had to hire a 1st grade teacher. We didn't have any applicants. We had to move her in that spot. So staffing in some ways don't help us either. So you kind of run against that because then you lose that support of people who can push in to help kids and give them more of that one-on-one time. I really think the curriculum will help the more that they get into it. And luckily, we've had the money so that we do have the support from the Region Center.
So you talked about splitting the class. Is that something that you see that we're gonna have to be really concerned about with the kids that are starting to come in? Are we gonna get more in the classes?
We've had more students, so a couple of quick things, and then, so we've had a talk, and I'm just gonna be real. The schools around us don't accept transfers if the kid fails STAR. They don't. And I think that Jacob and I talked about it today. That's something we're gonna have to move towards, because we pay a lot of money to bus kids from Abilene and other places on just those transfers, because we do get transfers. They're not passing and they're not coming to school. And so we're hurting ourselves as a district, by taking them. So we talked about it. A change that we're gonna do is, we will not be accepting transfers or notifying families until August 1st. So that we have STAR scores, and as a leadership team, we already discussed, we look at discipline, we look at grades, and we look at attendance. Those are already our 3 things, and we're gonna add STAR in there. Because we can't hurt ourselves. I can think of 3 transfer kids right now that Jacob had in that 4th grade group. That would have made all the difference.
Wow.
And we're busing them.
Yeah.
We're busing them,
That's great.
and we're hurting ourselves. And so we talked about that today. That's another, thing. We're gonna have to be strategic because, to your point, we are getting new kids. How many kids did we have new?
Billy just said it like a few minutes ago. We got 22 just on my campus, 22 new students for this year.
No,
Now,
that's not the other kids we know that are leaving.
yeah, we'll have some not come back, but I mean,
Because we know for sure 3 and 4th grade are coming back. That aren't transferred, well,
They're local or the.
they're local.
Yeah, we have to accept those, right?
Yes, yeah. The ones he's talking about are to our district, yeah, local. But like, we know for sure in that 4th grade, moving into 5th, they're Hamlin kids, but they left. One's mom teaches in another district, another one moved their child, and then another one wasn't happy, and so they're gonna go down the road towards it.
Scott.
So there is things like that, but we're gonna have to be strategic, especially with the kids coming in and different things. I know the high school's gotten 4 high school girls for sure, we know. And they all went to Anson, they're just coming back, they were already ours.
I mean, the mindset for me is just like, I have to make sure that I keep my focus on our local. I mean, we want a little different, but like, our kids are our priority first, If we're crushing it with them, then, like for me, that's, as I make those decisions, I may love that kid to death, but if they're not contributing, I guess is the right word, in a positive way to the campus or district, that's a tough decision that has to be made. That, I mean, there is a business side of this thing, and
Like, we have students that is a transfer from Abilene that they hadn't even filled out the paperwork, so we called and said, never mind, because they missed over a month of school and they filled all their stars. So why are we doing that? And we're paying to go get them. So, anyway, that's just a few of the things that we're gonna have to think about, because we are getting more kids, so.
We're gonna need to update that. Consider specific things that changed. The previous guy was here.
On the transfers? Well, it says in there that it's up to the discretion and it's already, grades, attendance, and discipline.
Okay, well, we specifically, I thought, excluded discipline as a, did we do that?
I did at the very beginning.
We can look at it. The paperwork since I've been here has had attendance, discipline, but we were gonna put in there too. We will. That's something that
Yeah,
will.
we need to check on that, because at one point, discipline was taken out.
Why would you do that?
Because we wanted the kids.
But there was,
I get it.
there was no.
Yeah, I'm talking like 7 years ago.
That's you two, I don't know.
We will.
Thanks, Carrie.
We will.
I trust the
Yes.
And we're not trying not to take kids, don't get us
No,
wrong.
I
but-
just recognize that, oh, this is in our policy.
Yeah, no. You cannot deny transfer mid-year.
It does say our policy of students' disciplinary history and attendance records, will be considered. Okay.
It does, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was just a conversation.
I'm trying to.
No, I mean, it was.
It was in there,
Oh, okay.
because there was a few of us that.
It could have been
Boys,
the,
it's like-
was
Voice
it,
opinions
you know,
about
what?
that.
It could have been the update we did with the TASB 2 years
Could
ago.
have been, yeah.
That when they came and redid
Yeah, probably.
did the audit, so we kind of changed it.
I remember it because it was.
But I will send you all the PowerPoint tomorrow that Jacob has created, just so that you all can see, his plan for the elementary and the thought that he's put in for them. Shay, do you want to say anything about, I'm gonna leave you out.
What was we talking about, academics? I'm just kidding. As far as the high school, I've only was there for a few weeks to see things in action, but I really think that we have so much room for growth and that to me, a school district should outperform either the state or the region, and the majority of our tests were not outperforming either one of those. And Region 14 is not a strong region academically. So I really think like just a little focus of some non-negotiables that encourage the right kind of teaching and you know, this fundamental 5, it's really basic stuff that every teacher should be doing. But when you put it all together, it's that they do all 5 consistently, and that you increase it, you know, from like, maybe I do this 10% of the time to I do it 35% of the time, and you're gonna see growth. I believe in it. I've used it several times. I've never had anything but great results from doing that. So, and then I think the other thing at the high school is just where some of our classes were and preps and just different things. I think allowing our teachers to focus on the tested subjects and support them and have them follow, whether, you know, just the curriculum that we're all doing the same thing, we're using the same vocabulary with our students, so our students aren't guessing what they're doing. And that's some of the things that Fundamental 5 does, that a student go in any classroom in our district and they know, like, as soon as they walk in the classroom, they're gonna know, hey, this is what I'm supposed to learn in this class, and this is how I'm gonna prove how I learned it. That way, the student and the teacher can measure growth, and if they're successful that day. So I just think doing those small things will show just tremendous growth at the high school. I think our test scores will go up. Then at a high school our size, like, some of it's pretty easy with CCMR, because with all of our industry-based certifications and dual credit and all that, like, it's no brainer to get those points. That's why the high school scores pretty well. Every high school in the state should do that. But I think once we show growth academically, we will be in a campus, in a district. So it's a lot of work, but I'm not worried about it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun work. I think our teachers will appreciate having some non-negotiables to know, because everybody likes to know have parameters and some structure to that. But it's also important that and that's part of Blue Bonnet that most teachers don't like, is it's kind of rigid. It gives you a script, and you just have to know how to use that script and change it, because nobody wants to follow it. And I don't think teachers teach well whenever they have to be a robot. Like, they need to have some autonomy. They need to be able to use their personality in classes. You can show them a great teacher, and that teacher may be super firm, and then that one teacher may not have that personality that, like, just be cut and dry on everything. They need the ability to love their kids in their own way and to teach. So I think we'll have all those things in place.
All right, anything else? If not, we'll move on to everybody's favorite insurance. Property and casualty insurance for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
I can't pull it up, I still have updates on my computer, but, I was trying to remember.
And I didn't get that.
What?
I didn't get it.
Did you get did it come to you? I thought it came to us 3. Do they have the copy of the stuff? Everyone's got a copy of this. Yeah.
They said.
You can give one, that's the comparison.
If I got it, I deleted it. I mean, yes, they should, I talked about it, but.
Yeah, because it does show and reflect $25,000. And it went down.
We just gotta pay for that person at the sixth grade.
Well, so the surprise with the insurance company, I'll take it.
Especially because it went up so much last year.
I just got that, it's not in here, but once again, it's probably earmarked for something else. It's like, it's already, I got it in there already win in like 1 day, so.
She was excited.
And I was like, okay, sure, and then it is now, so, but it's kind of not in this paperwork at all, I just got it. Any questions, but
Any questions?
we didn't have him do a Zoom this time. But because it went down, that's wonderful news, so, I opted out of that. I told him that there was no need, went down 25,000, so we were good.
All right, we move on to the policy update 127.
127 was a big one. I tried to give y'all cheat sheet for they called last week, update. If you've read all of it, it's just little things from the last legislative session. I think the stack was like this big, right, Lisa? It was huge. So those are all of them that will be updated.
Any questions there? Okay, 7.4 review of handbooks.
So the only major handbook is the code of conduct that is approved by you guys. We take the one from HCISD.
I have all handbooks here, or actually I have 2 of them, and the rest of them are over there if anybody.
So the student code of conduct is just a standard one that we take from HCISD. Every year they take all the new updates, all the new policies and laws, and they put it in a student code of conduct. So that is what that one is from the state. And then the other ones are, athletic, there is no change to athletic, it stayed the same as last year. Consequences, we're still going the same consequence with nicotine as last year. Remember where we changed that last year on the testing, but the data showed that we did not have an increase in students using nicotine. It was the same repeat offenders. So that did not change. Cheerleading, not that y'all didn't get that one, but it's formulated like athletics to speak kind of the same language, more with demerits and so on. And the other biggest one I think probably most people will have questions on is discipline at the high school.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we've decided to bring corporate punishment back and put it at the top of the conference. I do have a really good time. It's very good to be for school. It's been a few years since I've used it, but
I think I threw my shoulder.
yeah. So I think really expectations and really being consistent with the key components. But so trying to think how I want to explain it. To me, like there's a few non-negotiables as far as what will not be allowed. And to me, that's cussing, stealing, cheating, and fighting. And that's something we'll preach right from the start to the students of expectations. And we'll handle those things seriously. And I don't know what it's been like in the past, but I could tell just in the last month that maybe profanity and that type of thing. And once you let that kind of stuff go, it's a little too free flowing, and they tend to get in more trouble. So we're tightening up on that. But really one of the magic bullets, and I have a copy of it on which you guys have one. But it's a discipline system that I used when I was an assistant principal at Avon Consolidated. I put it together. It's nothing great or new. It's really just step discipline. But we put like the everyday things that happen at parties, dress code, there because we require every student to wear an ID. So we're going to treat all of those things the same. And it's just a step. So every time they get a tardy or a dress code, or they have a cell phone, all those cell phones are law now. But if we take it up once, we're going to count it towards this. But it's just a step listing policy. So they get 2 free ones, and then the third one's a parent conference. So we just track all those the same, like they all add up together. There's not a separate category for each one. And it kind of builds to where on a 15th party, you may go to the ADP. I know that seems kind of stout or maybe that, but it really, like, if you communicate well the whole time, you're notifying parents and talking, they get to November and they're like, I'm too away, it stops. I promise you. I was scared to death when we implemented this at A&M Consolidate because all the teachers are like, y'all are crazy, this is never going to work. And we had 3,000 students there, and there's 3 of us in the discipline. And but we're like, no, we're going to do it. And we got to a certain point, we had just a list of kids that were so close. And I was telling the other 2 assistant principals on the board, are we doing like, and I was kind of heading it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a train wreck. I'm going to have 300 kids in DAP. And then all of a sudden, and the teachers were like, oh my gosh, guys, this is bad. And all of a sudden, we sent 3 kids to DAP. It might have even been like at the end of October. It's fairly fast, and it stopped. Like, no, so it went from the teachers like, you guys are a joke, this is bad, to like high fives and fist bumps. Because now we had no kids in the hallways, they're on time to class, and I really think handling these small things like that will improve the rest. Yeah, we'll be consistent. Dress code is always the biggest challenge, because it's hard to be consistent with dress code. And you guys may disagree, but I just know when you have like the 4 of us right here, we can all say, hey, we're gonna be really good at dress code. But we won't see dress code the same. Like, I may never notice a kid's tattoo or something like that, but I'll notice every time they have a hat on or hood. And I know some of the people I worked in the past, they'll talk directly to a kid. Like, you didn't tell the kid to take his hat off, and he's wearing a hat. Like, some things you just don't see. Not everybody sees it, so it's hard. But my goal is to, for Mr. Floyd and I, to make sure the teachers are, taking care of that, and we'll do dress code sweeps and different things like that to help catch it all. And it's not, nobody wants to do the dress code police, I certainly don't, but definitely think we need to set a standard.
The only change in dress code he made is no hats, no hoodies, no, I mean, it's all, the rest still stay the same. It wasn't enforced. You saw kids with blankets, with pajamas, with yada, yada, yada. But it will be enforced, and then no hats.
Yeah.
So I met with the coaches last week on their first day back and told them the same thing, no hats in buildings.
So that gets me to. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off now, because, I mean, honest, all joking aside. It's hard to say for you to do that in school, right? And you come to a school board meeting and here I am sitting with the camera.
Well, maybe, but I don't think it's a big of a deal as a coach or somebody wearing a hat and,
Well, I
teach you and do all that kind of
I've
stuff.
always been taught, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that goes with, I love the cussing side. That is a huge problem, and it's not just here, it is in society, it's accepted. So I love it, but it also starts at the top, and you're gonna have to discipline all, you have to discipline teachers and coaches too.
Oh, that's for sure.
But I love it, I absolutely love it, because
That's
that's,
a question. Give me like an example. How do you, if some kids just going at it in the hallway, what does that conversation look like?
Well, if the kid's cussing,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy. I think you grab the kid and you take him to the office and I always use like silly examples sometimes, like, would you talk to your grandmother that way? And some are like, that's right, that's how we talk at school. Hey, grandma lives with us, yeah. Grandma taught me that word, but I'm just like, well, you're gonna have a job someday, like you can't speak a certain way, you're not going to hear, that's it. So you consequence them, and then when they do it again, they're like, hey, Joe, we talked to you last Tuesday, we're up and up, you're gonna go to ISET, whatever it is, we're gonna step up the discipline. Then after a few times, you're just not cutting it, you're gonna go to DAP, and then everybody's up there upset, but I think you stick to your guns, and they realize, and that was the thing about tardies and sending kids on this everyday discipline, they're like, dang, those guys are crazy, they'll send you to DAP for a tardy, and I think sometimes I need to think you're a little crazy. Just that you have high expectations, you'll stick to it at all costs, and it's also still I never want to take away, because the magic bullet of anything in this world is relationships. So if you're not, hopefully that kid cussing or letting one slip, hopefully I've said hello to him many times and talked to him in the hallway, and then I can just say, hey, Joe, that is not, I'm not gonna put up with that. How you talk to your friends when you're not around school or whatever, that's one thing, but when you're in an academic setting or a job setting, you need to know how to speak and refrain from cussing. Because it's not appreciated by most people, so.
The hard part is that he will have, and he knows this, is some teachers, especially who are most vocal about dress code not being, rules not being enforced, they allow some of this to happen in their room. So
Yeah.
What do you do for employees that do the same thing?
they'll be same thing. I mean, you get a warning, it's the same thing for tardies, for cussing, for dress code, same thing. You have that same conversation, like, hey, we can't do that, it's not appropriate. I mean, we have the same expectation, cell phones, and then we'll go to a note to file. I mean, you always have that one-to-one, a note to file.
Well, I think you also have to teach them that there's a purpose for every rule. It's like with dress code, and I talked to the seniors about this the other day when we had our senior meeting, but, and I usually talk to every class about it. It's like, no matter where you work in life, whether it's McDonald's, a teacher, doctor, lawyer, discount tire, there's a uniform that you have to wear, or expectation of dress. So like, we're just teaching like, it's not, hats do not belong inside a building in an academic setting. So I just teach them that way. And plus, in today's world where you're always worried about intruders and who's on your campus, who's not, if you have a strict rule, like nobody wears a hat, and you see somebody with a hat on, there's a good chance that if you're doing a good job of enforcing rules, like you can identify somebody from long distance, like, hey, that might not be somebody that should be here because they have a hat on or something. And that's just one of those things that helps. I don't know. I don't love having just a ton of rules, but I think enforcing the ones you have and kind of teaching the meaning behind it and being consistent as possible is really good. Like I'm really truly not worried about discipline. I think we'll be much stronger that way. I don't know if y'all know much about Snyder, but when I went to Snyder as the principal, like they had fights every day and cussing out teachers like it was just a zoo. And the same policy like really worked on Snyder. Like we went to 0 fights, and I never heard a kid ever cuss at a teacher. They may cuss in the hallway with a friend and we would correct it, but a teacher's like, wow, kids are not cussing in the classroom. So.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Is there like a discipline that we can see every once in a while?
Yeah, we'll run
We
a
can-
discipline report, and then that way y'all can have it. We can do a discipline, normally it's every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So we can do that, so y'all can see the interactions of like what most of the referrals and stuff are.
And the cool thing about this, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it here yet, but when we did this at A&M Consolidated, it's a bigger school, but teachers have their own form that they had to fill out. So then you could start noticing like where are your problem areas, because a lot of times like the tardies will come in a certain area or kids getting in trouble, and a lot of times because maybe administration's never in that area to kind of supervise or to set the standard. Or maybe you have that one teacher that just allows stuff to happen. They're like, oh, just hurry up and get in here. You're not tardy, and they're 5 minutes late. And, so just being present and tracking that, and we'll find out a way to kind of know, like, well, everybody cusses in this class, and she's starting to turn it in. So that's good and bad. They used to have that standard knowing that they could cuss in there. And then the good thing is, well, now they're reporting it because it's tracking it home. So.
And I'll piggyback on that a little bit too. When you look at those reports, you see, most campuses have a teacher that sends in more referrals than anybody else. So you go spend more time in that classroom, and it's usually kind of a 50-50, like either there's no expectations or there are expectations, but there's not a process to maintain those expectations. And so that then that's not necessarily a student issue. That's hey, let's give this teacher some more tools in his or her toolbox. Love your high expectations. Here's some ideas on how you can maintain those and not lose all the instructional time too, because it does turn into sometimes kids figure out, hey, I don't like Ms. Jones's class, so if I say A, B, or C, she's going to send me to the office. Mr. Murphy's going to talk to me for 10 minutes. By the time I get back, I'm just doing my homework. I don't have to listen to her. So sometimes it's given those tools.
Yeah.
You change student behavior by changing our behavior a lot of times too. So.
Is there anywhere in here that you can put cussing, a bar soda?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll come up with a report to do every 6 weeks.
We can report it at the board meeting.
All right, we got 6 action items, so let's jump into those. First one is Becky's budget amendments for fiscal year 2025, 2026.
All right, you'll keep going in your packet, you'll have one that says budget amendment number 1. To the front and back, is all it is one sheet. Once again, it has a gray bar at the top. That, the budget, what was the original budget, if you'll follow me down, you find it, kind of looks like.
Oh.
It's one pager, front and back, it says budget amendment number 1 on the top in your packet.
Yeah, it's what?
Should be right after the taxes, on the federal on the one page, it's right after. If you'll follow me down the amendment column, at the top is this revenue, added $71,000 to our state program. This is because what I estimated for our teacher incentive allotment, we got more teachers that got certified and got that this year. So I'm adding more, they gave us more money to pay those teachers. I'm adding $71,000 more in revenue. And if you come down, you'll see a positive $71,000. That's to put that money there to, we had more people qualify, so we got more money.
Here's the thing about teacher incentive allotment. They give you money to pay the teachers, but they don't give you the money to pay all the fees and stuff. So we still have to pay as a district. We lose money, right?
No, that's cool.
Huh? All the fees?
Well, the fees, no, you're right. The fees, no. No, we pay the Medicare and the TRS on behalf of that and get sent for them, but no, not the fees for, is it TIA fees?
Yes.
Something like
So they don't
that.
give us money for that.
We do not. We pay for it as a school district.
How much is that?
It's like $500. We had so many qualified. It was a big chunk.
These are just little things that you would get the
And
state.
you can. Everybody has a different policy everywhere. I looked at tons and kind of, the district can actually keep some of that money. They can do it. We don't. We fell all back to the teachers on behalf of them, but schools can be like, well, you're gonna get 10,000, we're gonna keep 1,000. We're gonna use it how we want it. We're only gonna, everybody has a different plan. Everybody has a little bit different. But if you come down to 71,000, the positive 7,000, this would be our district leadership. That's just from travel. I'm going to bump it up 7,000. Keep coming down to the first 15,000, and that would be our campus leadership. So that's just for extra call, salary, bumping that, do a little cushion for anything that happens for the month of August. Once again, this is just cushion. If I don't use it, it just kind of rolls back into it. The next 15,000 is our guidance counselor and counseling. This is actually going to be for the chaplain. We had it in our grants running out. It's kind of have to come back. So just a little, just something to cover it, and then just some cushion. The 20,000, that is in our student transportation. We have had lots of repairs this year. Went over in our vehicle repairs. So hopefully I'm not coming back at the end of August and have to do more, but you never know when the school, all the buses start rolling, anything break down. So I think I put enough cushion in there to get us through. Keep on going down to the next 20,000. That would be our security monitoring. Once again, that grant's running out. Kind of have to shift some of those salaries back into our budget. Then the last one would be the 2,000, and that's just for like data processing technology, just from cushion there for any little last minute bills. Doesn't affect the budget, just gonna go there if we don't need it. No bills come in, and anything happens, they'll go back. So I'm putting actually in a local fund balance, $79,000. Let's say we roll over 99,000. We have $39,000 left over. We needed $79,000 more, we really roll over 20. Kind of nets it together at the end. I may come with a few budget amendments at the end, not looking for a lot, maybe one or two, or maybe none. But we'll still bring those budget amendments at the very end to see how this month goes. Because this is it. If you spend all your budget and something happens, I can't, if you say we budgeted $50,000 and we spend $60,000 on repairs and that whole entire function goes over of maintenance or whatever, that gets wrote up. I'll get wrote up. There'll be a finding on our audit, goes to TEA. You don't want to go over what you budgeted. These are just cushions to make sure something doesn't happen. We don't want to get a fine when you wrote on the audit. I have no budget amendments for the cafeteria or none on the INS. So, I know it's a lot, but.
Nice, thank you.
I'll entertain that motion.
I move that we approve the budget amendments as presented.
Motion made by Dr. White, seconded by Carrie. All in favor of that motion, signify with the right hand. 7. Okay, compensation and benefits.
Start anything, you want me to start something?
Yeah, you started.
Okay. So, at the very last, you should have a packet. For our compensation. If I did, like, it's the only one I think I printed in green was the one. If you'll flip over to the first page, this will be our teacher salaries, our classroom teachers. No changes. Remember last year, they gave a huge teacher retention allotment. That's still, built in here. The only changes that I did on this, it's a brand new rule that's coming out next year. And I don't know what they'll do with it. I know what they're thinking about because it has to do with certified and non-certified teachers. I don't know all the rules about that, but I know that they have to be, there's a plan that you need to have all your certified teachers, but by a certain day. But we have built in, if you see at the very top, a 0-step non-certified. This one came out with the Texas Education Code. A brand new teacher, never taught before, brand new, comes in as step 0. But if they are not certified, they have to make less than that person that is certified on a step 0. Only a 0. You came in and you were a step 2 and you're not certified, doesn't matter. It has to be a step 0. So you can see I built a line, non-certified, to comply with the TEC code, and their total pay is less than what the 0 is. They get certified, they go back on that one, but I know that they're pushing toward everyone to be certified.
Yep.
So I know why they built that, but the next year they move up to 1, it's fine. They don't get any changes in the person that is certified or not.
So the TRA, the retention allotment from the state, if you remember, it was only for last year and this year. We don't know what's going to happen moving forward, or if you're going to continue to fund that. But we did also do your step. So if you see the last column, because what, Becky, did you equate the step to for everyone? It was about what kind of a different increase, but a 1%, 2%?
We didn't do any percentage.
Well, the step increase.
Oh, well, I don't know what to vary. It's a weird little scale that if you're a beginning teacher, you don't get much, and then it kind of goes up and it kind of goes down, but you can see at the right, it's the step plus the retention allotment was when they move, so.
So they will get something more with the step.
They get a step, yes, you're right.
It's weird. Why does it go down at year 14?
Isn't it weird that it kind of?
When you start trusting as a teacher.
It bails. And this is put out by TEA, so it's just, but it's kind of a bail. It kind of goes up and back down as they're. So you may get a, $1,000 raise, and it may go 50 down to 10, and it's just, but if you, the next page is everyone else is attached to a step. And what block is representing me to is a 3% across the board raise. So that just, instead of having all those pages, I just kind of summarize it on there, a 3% raise for every one of them. And then we also took the last step of 20 where you would not move and increased that so you would get, an additional money because you're stuck at the end. So we kind of upped that step 20 for those that are kind of stuck at the end. So they
Wasn't very many, but we were trying to make sure that they were not getting anything, so.
And the last one's just some few little increases on some stipends that I kind of added and some all. Those are just a few little, golf, just a mandatory. I mean, they're just basic.
Daycare, we did make a change, because since both of our daycare people left, they were getting huge stipends. So we didn't take away their stipend altogether, but we reduced it to 10 months and then we
Refigured it.
yes. We added the band director, if you remember, we added tennis, so that added another stipend because we didn't have that in last year.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of any.
We kind of upped the math stipend a little bit.
That's right, we did up math.
And then the accounts payable is just reallocated.
Right.
Yeah, it is, we don't have a position.
We saved a salary, but we added a stipend to do that.
Did you want to talk about retention?
Oh, so, one of the biggest things that, I know you all value all of our staff in the district, and so we really do too. 2 years ago, the retention bonus was $750 paid out in November. We had to cut it last year to $500, if you recall, and if they worked games, they got paid. So our recommendation this year is that every staff member receives a $1,000 retention bonus. So we were able to cut and make it work.
Made it
So we
work,
still
and
need
it's
to
in our
balance
post
budget.
budget.
Because, we can't give huge raises, we know that, but we still want everyone to know how much we appreciate them. And in November, it's just, that way our employees know they have this in November to kind of help save and different things. So, that is our recommendation.
They won't have to work games and stuff.
Nope, they'll still get paid.
That's additional.
Yep, we're paid, that worked out fine.
This is just retaining employee,
This is just a retention, so it's saying, hey, we thank you for choosing Hamlin, so.
So if you came up and left, it's a retention.
And if we have, do we have any part-time still?
We do have a couple,
That they get half,
they'll get half.
so it would be paid out in November.
Thanks, Becky. Any other questions, Dr. Block or Becky? If not, I will entertain compensation action item. Any questions?
Trying to find my page.
Yeah. I don't know that it's in there. 'Cause I thought maybe it was in the hidden printed one. And because I didn't have, last one I had was the,
This is just employee compensation.
yeah, we just need to replace budget amendments with compensation and benefits.
Okay, I move the board approve the employee compensation plan as presented. 2026, 2027 as presented.
Cool. Okay, good. Motion made by Carrie, seconded by Jennifer to approve the compensation and benefits for 2026 and 2027. All in favor of that motion, signify by right hand. 7. All right, moving on to the government capital, approve the government capital as a district financial advisor.
We have to have a financial advisor, to help us through our bond process and stuff, and so, the recommendation from me is that we go with, government capital. That's, Jake Lawrence, from Sweetwater, just because he is familiar with our area and all the entities going in, so it'll be, easier for him to work with us.
Any questions there? I like it. I think he's familiar.
That's who we met.
Yeah,
Jake's,
okay.
he's from Sweetwater, Dr. White, you didn't meet him, but.
We met him there.
And he works with most of the school, he recently did work with all of them, and he works with pretty much.
Okay, I'll entertain that motion.
I make a motion to approve government capital as the
Financial advisor.
district financial advisor. Second.
Motion made by Dr. White, seconded by Derek. All in favor of that motion, signify by right hand. 7. All right, moving on to the teacher appraisal systems policies and calendar for 2026, 2027.
I'll do that, for Christy, so you have to do, you guys approve this every year, we use T-test, in our district, it's the state evaluation system, and so it's a loose, yeah. So, you have to provide trainings, the training for all of our staff will happen tomorrow.
on T-test, and the new hires, we had orientation today, so they received their training today. With T-test, you have to set 2 goals, a professional goal for yourself as well as a data goal, basically. And so they have to turn that into their evaluators or appraisers, which are Jacob and Shay. Those are our 2 appraisers on our campuses. And so they have due dates that are listed there. It's by September 4th. And so basically we talked, I'll just make it less. Basically we talked and we want all of our evaluations to be done by
January 28th.
Yes, because that way they've already done a formal evaluation on all of our employees. That way, if there's any teacher that we are worried about not recommending, we have had plenty of time to coach them up. We've had plenty of documentation, so that way when we bring them to you guys to recommend for a non-renewal, it's already done and it's not last minute. So there should never be a surprise for a teacher that they're not going to be reviewed. So that's what we decided. It's also in our TIA plan, teacher incentive allotment plan, that they have to have 1 formal evaluation plus 6 walkthroughs. I have to phone a friend, Michelle, which we just got it approved today.
We just got it
approved this afternoon. 6 walkthroughs, and that's all combined together. And so we will be using our T-test walkthroughs as well as our lift leadership something walkthroughs that we've all been trained on to help with teacher incentive allotment. And they have to have a 45-minute evaluation, and each campus principal gets to decide if they're going to let them choose dates or how that process works. It will be explained to them, and then you meet with them to go over their evaluation, and then they have a summative at the end of the year with their evaluator. At any time a teacher is not happy with their evaluation, then they can request an additional evaluation. The additional evaluators in our district are Christy, Michelle, and myself. If they request an additional evaluation to take place, they have 10 days, and then to request that, then 10 days for the second evaluation to take place. So there is a formal timeline for that. And then they have to have all of their summatives done by
May 6th.
May 6th. And so that way it's turned in, and then that just completes all of their domains.
Does T-test stand?
Teacher, see why you asked me
Texas
that?
Teacher Evaluation and Support
It's
System.
been so long since I've had to spell out T-test. That was a trick question. See, you got it, Jacob. Good job. Texas Teacher Evaluation.
And support.
And T-test is meant to be a growth measure. It's not meant to be, and I got you, it used to be PDOS, Professional Development Appraisal System. I knew that one. And so it's meant to, you get scored on a 0 to 5 domains like approaching, distinguished, all the same categories as mine. And it's meant to be in the middle. Or developing, and so proficient or developing, and you're shooting for distinguished and exemplary. If you get needs improvement, then that's your teachers that would go on a coaching plan. So, and we will go over all of it tomorrow, and it will be all of the teachers that will hear the same thing as a district.
Okay, no questions there. I'll entertain that motion.
I move the board approve the teacher appraisal system appraisers policies and calendar for the 2026-2027 as presented.
Motion made by Jennifer, seconded by Carrie. All in favor of that motion, signify with the right hand. 7-0. Okay, the next one is the policy update that was the information item earlier. So, if there's more discussion there, I will entertain that motion.
Move to approve the local policy update 27 as presented. Second.
Motion made by Dr. White, seconded by Derek. Yes. Okay, all in favor of that motion, signify with the right hand. 7-0. And the last one is consider approval of student code of conduct for 2026 and 2027. Is that just the student code of
That's the
conduct?
only.
Oh, that's the one we have to vote on.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I move the board approves the 2026-2027 student code of conduct as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Jennifer, seconded by Dr. White. All in favor of that motion, signify with the right hand. 7. All right. Moving on to Dr. Block's report.
We've already had financials, so Becky did a great job. I don't have to talk about that. New hires, we have no new hires or resignations at this time. We are hoping, I updated you all in 6th grade, so we're hoping that that happens. A couple of calendar, tomorrow is first day back for staff. We will be meeting in the elementary at 8:30. We do have breakfast tacos, so if you're in town and want to come by, feel free. We don't have an AC at the high school in the cafeteria. So it was supposed to be fixed, it's not, so, and I heard that the elementary had a big gaping hole in the ceiling in the cafeteria. Jacob,
What's that?
the cafeteria had a hole in the ceiling with.
Yeah, there's a wire gate, we said the leak is fixed, the hole's not, so we're gonna.
So we just kind of play it by ear, but right now, we're gonna be meeting.
But it's not gonna be hot.
Like a hole that helps you the sky.
No, just like, it just falls down. Yeah, it's just gonna fall through.
Tomorrow, 8:30 in the elementary cafeteria, we're having breakfast tacos. Come by and see everyone. Now, the Friday, we have Gallagher, Greg came by and he is paying for lunch for the entire staff. And we're having fajitas by Joel. And what time?
It's from about 11:15.
11:15, where?
Friday.
It's almost been cafeteria.
Right now, it's gonna be in the cafeteria. The last we talked, it could be here, right, Michelle? You never know, we could be having.
That's Friday at 11.
Friday at 11, and we're having fajitas, so feel free to come on by. We're happy that they're gonna do that for all of our staff, because it's hard to go out to eat and do things. So that is Friday, so y'all are more than welcome to come. We have Meet the Teacher Thursday night, 4 to 6 at the high school, 5 to 7. 6:30 at the elementary. If you're in elementary, Jacob, starting in the cafeteria. It's easy to know that, right?
4:30.
What?
Did you say 4 to 6 or?
Yeah,
4:30.
4:30 to 6, all right.
Yeah, it is.
So, they'll be ready to take on everyone, and then first day of school is August 11th. Only other thing I have for you guys is we received the architects that are interested in being a part of our process as we move forward for bonds. They had until August 1st. We had 6 turn in, could be 7. I have to double check on my, 6, 7. I have to double check. But so here's what I want to get y'all's input on. Normally what happens is we follow a rubric and the leadership team goes through each one using a standard rubric, and then we come up with the top X. So what I want to ask you guys is, y'all can go through each 7 and we can call each architectural firm, or you can go through each, and a packet is about 15 to 30 pages. So, and then I can present to you the top 3 and have them come present like at a special session, or I could have the top 2 come present to you guys, and then y'all decide what architectural firm you want to move forward with. So that's what I need feedback, is what you want.
I think 2.
Two sounds pretty good. I'll do that.
2 sounds.
It's normally 2, but I mean, it could be 3. Now I will tell you, how about this? If there's 3 that are like
Yeah,
score
I
within
like
a
that.
couple of points, and
Give yourself a.
yeah, it would
There's
be,
3 that
it's an
are
obvious
B,
2,
yeah.
then no. And what we'll do is, they don't know it yet, but congratulations, you are the lucky ones. We will use a rubric, and then each person, we don't discuss it, they'll have to do it on their own, and then we come back together, and that's how the points are tabulated. We just do it by a numeric system.
Be on the rubric, just wondering, when you evaluate an architect, when you evaluate?
It's a thing like experience, how many other like schools they've worked with. If you're building something in particular, like we know we want CTE, what experience do they have with CTE? It's a whole checklist that's already done. So I can share that out, but it is pretty detailed. Do they have an area? How long have they been in business? Jay, you can help me out because you probably,
I've been through this, yeah.
I'm thinking about my mind, because in San Marcos, it's a pretty intensive rubric. What else is normally on it that I'm not thinking about?
I mean, cost.
Yeah,
For
cost.
one, and they have different pricing structures, how they do it, how much you pay up front or what comes in the package. That, to me, that kind of separates certain ones.
They normally say too, like what their support would look like.
Yes.
like their staffing, if they're gonna house, like house different things, some don't. If they're from way far away, then oftentimes just depends, they're not as, or if they're a smaller company, they may not have as much experience or personnel. So they talk about how many licensed architects, how many engineers, what their staff looks like too.
Also, what construction companies they've worked with before, that's. a really
And they
big
have
one.
pictures of jobs and stuff like that. And if they came in, I can't remember, did they put if they came in under budget or not on this?
Yeah, just depending on, they'll say, hey, we're 100% always on time, or, especially with construction companies, they'll.
No.
They, no, yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty intensive, and then you go through each one, what they recommend, so. So y'all are okay with that, then we'll move forward with that. And then,
One quick thing, Sunday night, church is doing the golf course thing,
That's
so y'all are invited.
what time is it?
5:30.
5:30.
Or I think at 86, I think.
Yeah, it's, everything starts at 5:30, and I think that's true. I think food didn't start till 6.
And then your church is doing hot dogs and backpacks tomorrow, and a fun house and fun stuff, right?
Well, that's for the grown-ups.
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Hot dogs and backpacks and stuff.
And then,
Is it at your church, is where it's at?
Yes, sir.
It's at, okay.
Yes, sir.
What time?
Yep.
What time?
Yes. Hang on.
I say it was.
Saturday, Sheila, you
Six.
tell me what time.
I think it's 6. The women have to be there at 4, but I think it's either at 5:30 or 6.
When your pastor.
Yeah.
Well, we answer to the wife, we don't answer to
Billy
the.
Brown.
Billy?
Yeah, but,
Billy Brown County.
yeah, I think it's 68. And it will be a water slide, from what I understand, so.
Where you're,
Live check.
Yeah.
so that's all I have. I will send you guys, Jacob's presentation, just because I want y'all to see what he's already thought through for the elementary. And I will send that tomorrow.
And then August 25th
5:30, your next week.
for budget.
And then, is that when
She said 6.
is that when the contractor was going there or not?
No, I mean, we need to see. I mean, with
We
Greg,
talked about that one quick.
we talked about it. It could be, since it's a short one, we could make that be where they come and present.
I mean,
Sorry.
The architects, like,
Oh,
I told
yes.
you.
for the-
I meet with
Are you
Greg.
guys gonna be ready for that?
I think so, yeah. I
Y'all
meet
are
with-
ready for that, I think that would make the most
We have one,
sense.
we just have to go through it. I meet with Greg Thursday.
It's whatever, I mean, we can change that. What about the September meeting?
5:30.
5:30. Is it 5?
I've got 5:30.
5:30.
I'm the 20th.
Make sure that's.
I showed up at 5 today and I thought somebody.
Michelle, see, we were wrong.
I think we're gonna do a district innovation,
Oh, that's why.
public hearing.
So we are having to renew our District of Innovation. That's why I thought, because Michelle, y'all don't have to be here, but District of Innovation, we have to renew it. It expires at the end of August, but it has to be posted on your website, which it already is. We already have a committee and Michelle sent that out to all of us for feedback. And then you have to have a,
Public hearing.
public hearing. So we thought we'd set it at 5. Y'all don't have to be here, right? Do they?
No, they don't have to be here.
No, it's just if people come in.
And then we'll present it.
Michelle and I will be here to answer any questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, there's so many things we have going on that I have to think about that for a second.
So the public hearing's at 5.
Yes.
5:30, gotcha.
So September meeting, we're going first Tuesday, is that too early? That's back-to-back weeks, just going by, I think we're supposed to be on the first Tuesday. I don't know, it doesn't matter to me, we can move it back to 8th, or we can. See, I don't have anything on the 8th.
The 8th.
Labor Day's the 7th.
Glad Labor Day is the 7th. Or I've got bank board meeting on the 15th, so I'd rather not do 15th if we can.
I think the 8th's good.
Okay, everybody good with that? September 8th at 5:30?
Because we're gonna shoot for the first Tuesday though for all the rest of our meetings, correct?
Right, we'll see.
And don't forget, thank you for those of you that did come and meet with me. That's always gonna be an invitation. You can call me. you don't want to FaceTime me or like Zoom with me, but you can. Or you can come by, or we can go to eat or do whatever. I always like a chance to go eat in Aspermont. So at Hickman's, right? They know. Sickman's. I love to go to Aspermont to Hickman's when we get a chance. But if you want to go over the agenda, that's always, or anything else, then feel free. Half of y'all did. More than half of y'all did. Good for us. So hopefully it was worthwhile.
Yes.
You want to?
Huh?
No, he didn't take me to.
No. We talked on the phone.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
Okay, anything else? If not, it is 7:05.
Not bad, fellas.
Not bad at all.
Get back, you better, you get back.
Right now.
That's right.